Well, the weekend has begun, and you all know what that means. That means it's going to be chaotic to do a lot of pro wrestling reviews for all of you. Our first one we're going to review, this one was from July 5th by Gatoh Move Pro Wrestling at Shinkiba. Both titles are on the line, the tag team titles and the top title, the Super Asia Championship. And of course, we have day one of the G1 Climax. Who most likely could walk out, but however, this is just the beginning. Who will surprise us in day one? Do we believe that they will make it all the way to the finals? We just gotta wait and see, and that's gonna take a long process. Then of course we have two shows by AEW. We have Collision, where we have the semifinals of the Owen Hart Foundation tournament in the women's division. Who will walk out? Will it be Ruby Soho or will Nigel? And of course, the AEW World Tag Team titles are on the line in a 2 out of 3 falls match. And then, of course, we got Battle of the Belts. Championships will be posted on the line. So, will we be seeing title exchanges? I don't know, but we will be paying attention very closely. And, of course, we have some news updates to tell what's been going on in the world of pro wrestling, such as what events the promotions are throwing out, who is being booked, what matches are set, who's injured, who got signed, any other things, the whole enchilada. So, let's get ready for another episode of the Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Welcome everybody to the Deleted Wrestle Zone, all things that is pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Impact Wrestling, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I am your host, J Rod here. So, if you are new to the channel, welcome to checking out this. And you can click the subscribe button to enjoy what we're throwing. We're throwing some awesome reviews on the world of pro wrestling. If you like this episode, please click like. Now, our very first review we're going to be talking about is the latest Gatoh Move show. If you're unfamiliarized with this promotion, Gatoh Move is a promotion mostly for joshi wrestlers, created by none other than Emi Sakura, who you guys may have known in AEW. She also wrestles in the independents in the US as well. This is a very special event, not only because there's 2 title matches on the line, they even feature a brand new trainee who's just debuting. Emi Sakura, they gave the lowdown of the event's matches, and then of course introduced Nonoka Seto. Now, Nonoka Seto has been involved in exhibition matches, one time in a Gatoh Move show in the much previous one, and of course during the Choco Pro shows, and of course she debuted in Choco Pro as well. But however, she was yet to debut in a Gatoh Move show. So that's pretty much what started. Now, our very first match features a 3-way tag team match. Team number 1, we have Sayaka Obihiro and Kojio versus Tokiko Kirihara and Antonio Honda versus Sayaka and Rina Yamashita. Now, you know these kind of matches when it comes to Antonio Honda that he will try to do distractions, try to do a little tricks in the maneuver. I mean, it almost did. However, there is one person who they need to be more concerned, is Kojio, because A, he's a monster and he's part of the Uma army. Basically, there are some people that monsters you don't want to deal with. But however, none of that worked. Of course, there were some misfires by Honda and Kirihara, but Honda was able to pick up a victory when he pinned Sayaka Obihiro, giving him and Kirihara the win. Now, our next match is a tag team match. We have Balan Aki teaming with Masahiro Takanashi, taking on the guys coming all the way from Pro Wrestling Bazaar. We have Izami Kodaka and Daiki Shimomura. Now, if you guys aren't familiarized with Pro Wrestling Bazaar, they're a promotion that originally specialized in hardcore and death matches. But They normally work in independence with other promotions. They used to be a sister promotion within um, the DDT programming, mostly with Cyberfight, until they decided to go on their own. But it's interesting to see them. Now, when you think of Gatoh Move, you may think of Masahiro and Balinaki, since they normally operate with the promotion. However, that case that did not go. There was an interesting move that it was conducted. Daiki Inaba did a little push, double kick in the back of Balinaki to allow Kodaka to apply the victory roll onto him, giving them the win. This was a very disbelief match by Balinaki, but it helped. Now, our next match, we have another tag team match. We have Chiko Shikawa and Mei Suruga. They face Miya Yotsuba and the debut of Nonoka Seto. Now, if you guys remember, Miya Yotsuba was the much recent trainee who debuted about a year ago, almost last year, but she was under the training of Mei Suruga. She is amongst those wrestlers who, in fact, hasn't been trained by none other than Emi Sakura, who's been living here in the States. Nonoka Seto is also amongst those, the non-trained Emi Sakura era types. However, I thought it was a very interesting match. I know that Nonoka, I've seen her in an exhibition. How can she be a bit aggressive? I like how she tries to, both Miya and Nonoka apply headlocks into the matches, trying to win by submission, but it did not work. But in this case, it was a submission by Mei Suruga onto Nonoka Seto, forcing her to tap out, giving Mei and Chi the win. Now, our next match is the first of two championship matches. We have the Asia Dream Tag Team titles. We got Kaori Yonayama and Yasu Urano taking on the current tag champions known as Shin Dragon, Shin Suzuki, and Chon Shida. Now, this is the first time these guys if you guys remember, the last time these guys were in the Gatoh Move show, they by default won the tag titles due to the fact that Chris Brooks was injured. But of course, they were not happy that they were given the titles, but they took it anyway. Regardless, they will try to prove they are a fighting champion. But however, I was a bit more concerned the fact that, since if you guys know who Yonayama is, she's a bit more faster in the fast pace as a high speedster. But that did not work in this one. Apparently, they were able. Shin Suzuki and Chun Shida was able to apply Shin Suzuki was able to apply the frog splash on Yasu to pick up the win, and they retained the titles. Now, our main event features the Super Asia Championship between Emi Sakura versus Hagen Ishino, the current champion of that time. I thought this match was insane. These guys were like going all the way to see how fast they were going. But there were many attempts by Emi Sakura to apply the Mahastra, which is one of her favorite moves, in order to win the match. But however, finally it took about a few times to get it right, and Emi Sakura is now a double champion. She's not only just the Super Asia champion, she's also, of course, the DPW World Women's Champion from Deadlock Pro Wrestling. So I thought it was a pretty good show. Now, after the matches were done during post-show, Emi Sakura has announced that she wants to have an opportunity of the setup openweight title, which is in the possession of Masahiro Takanashi. And of course, this took place recently on the 11th. However, Masa thought, okay, I'll put my title on the line if you put the Super Asia title on the line. So it became a Double Crown Championship matchup. Now, I already reviewed that particular match. It ended in a time limit draw. But however, they announced, Emi Sakura announced the next Gatoh Move show will take place at a different location. I think a different area, region. I think I can't pronounce the name of the place because it's kind of. I don't want to offend any of the Japanese subscribers if I have any when I say it. But however, she did announce two matches that will take place on August 16th. No, it was August 16th. Yeah, August 6th. However, amongst these matches that was taking place, two of them has been announced. Chiko Shikawa will face Nonoka Seto, but the main event will feature a very interesting one. This is a case of master versus student. We have Mei Suruga versus Miya Yotsuba. Now, Mei Suruga gave some words to Miya. As you know, she has been one of the most dominating joshi wrestlers in Gatoh Move. But however, as soon as she was done what she had to say, she decided to promote telling any women who's interested in becoming a pro wrestling, come on down to Ichigaya Square and we'll make you a wrestler. Just like that. I'm not kidding. She was doing that. So if you guys saw that on the Gatoh Move YouTube channel, you know what I mean. But however, the much interesting thing is what happened after Mei Suruga was done doing her little thing. Miya Tsuba, as you guys remember, she made her debut last year. However, this is a much interesting development. She calls out Nonoka Seto, and she revealed that both Nonoka and herself are in fact real life sisters. Now, I know what you're gonna say. Wait a minute. There's Miya Tsuba and Nonoka Seto. Why do they have different names? Miya explained it. She felt that it was probably for the best that both of them follow their own paths individually. Like they're better off trying to find their own strengths without relying with each other. But Miya did say that they will be teaming time from time. It's not going to be 100%. But I'm sure down the line they will probably team up, and I wouldn't be surprised if those two decided to team up for to challenge for the Age of Dream tag team titles. I mean, this is something similar to what Hanan said. If you guys know who Hanan is, she is one of the younger, known as the Young Lioness in Stardom. She mentioned one time that her dreams is to win the artist belt with her sisters, Rina, who is the current future champion, and of course Hina, who is currently with Queen's Quest. So that is something that could happen. But I'm just saying that maybe that's a chance we could see both Nonoka and Miya win the tag titles. But that's going to be... And this is kind of relates to how the Young Bucks mentioned in their biography that when they were supposed to be singles wrestlers, but somehow they were lumped in as tag team. I wouldn't be surprised if that happens to them too. But only time will tell until that day happens. I think that's pretty much it right now with Gatoh Move. I believe it's time for New Japan Pro Wrestling. Okay, New Japan Pro Wrestling, this is day one of the G1 Climax 33. Now, if you are new to the channel, you guys are not familiar with the G1 Climax, let me explain for you. The G1 stands for, in a way, grade 1, which is the top heavy, like being the heavyweights of the weight division. This only takes place every year, and this is not an elimination tournament where you lose a match and then you, of course, you're out. No, this is an elimination match on point-based system. The idea is if you win a match, you get 2 points. Lose a match, 0. But however, if you exceeded the time limit, you'll end up with 1 point each in a time limit draw. But however, the point system gets a little bit complicated as we get closer to the finish. There's moments where we think that this wrestler will be the one to make it, but somehow the wrestler who was a little bit behind and catched up, they somehow ended up. It's a little tricky in some capacity, but however, that's how it's always been. The winner of the tournament will get an opportunity to head to Wrestle Kingdom, which is the biggest show of the start of the year, which will take place at the Tokyo Dome in 2024. So that's going to be what's going to happen for this tournament. Now, it's divided in 2 blocks, A block and B block, so there's that. So let's get started and start with the first match. Our opening match, we have El Phantasmo versus Yoshihashi. I think this was a very interesting match. Now, Kevin Kelly did mention that Yoshihashi does have a win over El Phantasmo. But Phantasmo, as you know, has been trying to find his way ever since he was kicked out of Bullet Club. But he was able to find his way. But he seems like he gained the popularity from the fans. But however, it was Yoshihashi with a crucifix bomb that pick up the win. But however, Yoshihashi showed respect to El Phantasmo. I wouldn't be surprised if Yoshihashi invites El Phantasmo to join Chaos. That would be interesting. But we'll see how that goes. Until then, only time will tell. Now our next match goes to the A block. We have Chase Owens versus Gabriel Kidd. Now this became a chaotic match because these two guys are in Bullet Club. But keep in mind, Gabriel Kidd is a war dog. These guys are killers. They are determined to win by any cost. But the bell did not ring whatsoever. He was trying to soften up Chase Owens in every way possible. Now, Chase Owens did not give up. He did state it in the post-match interview that he's a survivor. He survived the AJ Styles era, Kenny, Jay White. He's not dumb, so he knows exactly what he's doing. But he was able to pick up the win when he took out Gabriel Kidd with the package pile driver. But the obvious thing is he doesn't know what to make of it. But he understands how Gabriel Kidd is, that he's hungry, he wants to go to the top. But don't do it at the expense of Chase Owens, who knows exactly what he's talking about. Now, our next match, we have Kenta versus Tonga Loa. Now, these two guys are no strangers with each other. Tonga Loa, former member of Bullet Club. Kenta, a current member of Bullet Club. But, however, Kenta was smart enough to attack the knee of Tonga Loa, that put him out of action for quite some time. So that sets it all. He tried everything, not to mention try to take out the referee, low blow, do all these dirty tricks, but it did not do any well for him until Tonga Loa picked up the win by pinning him 1, 2, 3, and of course Kenta, in disbelief that he lost to Tonga Loa. Well, that's what he gets for trying to play dirty, but we'll see about that. Now, our next match, this is a very interesting. We have Ren Narita versus Shota Umino. Now, these two individuals, they are not strangers with each other. They were young lions when they first started out in the New Japan dojo, and they were part of the same class. However, they went their separate ways and separate excursions. Ren Narita went to the LA dojo to train under Shibata, while Shota Umino went to Rev Pro. But however, this has become more of a battle. Now, when they returned, there were those that later declared them as the new generation of the Three Musketeers, but they don't feel it that way in some capacity. But there's always been like a bit of rivalry between the young lions themselves, including with these two. But however, because of their ways, they were able to end this with a time limit draw. This is the only one they had. This is the first one so far. But I know for a fact that these two will come across each other, but one of them has to pick up a win. And this is going to be a very difficult determination between these two. Next match, this is a match that I know for a fact many fans have expected. We have Great-O-Khan versus Kazuchika Okada. Now, if you guys remember history all too well, when the United Empire first started, Great-O-Khan, his primary mission was to take out the Rainmaker once and for all in retirement. But, however, can the Great-O-Khan put him away and this time pick up the win that he couldn't get with him? Well, Okada always said you could never beat the Rainmaker, and that's exactly what he's been trying to do. But however, Khan tried to dodge the one move that he knows that will take him out, and that is the Rainmaker. But unfortunately, he couldn't escape it no matter how many times Okada tried. Rainmaker, 1, 2, 3, he's out. But it was a pretty good match, no matter what. Next up, this is a very interesting matchup. We have Yota Tsuji versus Kato Kiyomiya. Now, keep in mind, Kato Kiyomiya is in fact not from New Japan Pro Wrestling, but from the other promotion. Some people call it a rival promotion, Pro Wrestling Noah. Now, Kiyomiya had made his headways with New Japan on various occasions when it comes to Kazuchika Okada. Now, they're both are like the top level champions in capacity. But however, Yota Tsuji, he appears like he had something to say about Kiyomiya, but he had no intentions to deal with him. But Tsuji, he was brutalizing him in every way possible. He did everything to take him out, not to mention with his sadistic style, his strength, but in the end, never count out the supernova himself, Kato Kiyomiya, because he applied the Shining Wizard and kaboom, just like that, he took him out. I'm sure Yota Tsuji would definitely want to have another crack at him, but the obvious question does tell, will it be in a New Japan ring or a Noah ring? Don't tell me, we just gotta wait and see. Next match, this one is from the B block. We have Taichi versus Will Ospreay. Now, these two guys aren't no strangers with each other. However, you guys remember clearly earlier this year, back in February, these two have tangoed. Now, Taichi first formed the Just 4 Guys what were once former members of Suzuki-gun. However, these guys were using this at the expense of Will Ospreay, not to mention with his unit, the United Empire. They came up short on various occasions, but however, Will Ospreay is determined to walk out as the winner of the G1, even if he has to go through Taichi. But Taichi, this is in the venue where it's at is in Sapporo and Hokkaido, which is of course the home prefecture of Taichi. But however, somehow Taichi was able to apply the Black Manifesto and kaboom, pick up a good win against Will Ospreay. I'm sure Will Ospreay is not happy, but I don't know if Taichi know this or not. He has an opportunity to challenge for the United States, the IWGP United States Heavyweight title. He pinned Ospreay. He could actually challenge for an IWGP title match. That's something he and Zack Sabre Jr. talked about in the past. He has an opportunity, even though Taichi is the current KOPW champion. But we'll see what that happens. Now, our main event, this is a very interesting one that the New Japan matchmakers started. This one features Sanada versus Hikuleo. Now, the obvious thing is, Hikuleo, he's a big SOB, like 7 feet tall. You ask yourselves, how can Sanada overcome it? I mean, look, Sanada went through hell his entire life to go to the top. That's exactly what he does. He will try to figure a way, no matter what Hikuleo does, even if he has to choke slam him, body slam him, the whole thing. But the one thing was made clear, he did not give up until he applied the deadfall, which is like a modified DDT, took him out. I thought it was a very interesting match, but we'll see how far he'll go. So we'll be paying attention to Sanada, but also he shared the ring with his teammate Taichi. Now, I know for a fact those two will come across each other during the G1 since they're in the G1, because it will be interesting to see. But however, both of these guys represent just 5 guys. They walk away with the win each. But we'll see how that goes. And I think that's it for this one. So let's move on with AEW Collision. Okie dokie, AEW Collision. So we're going to have a very fantastic timing on this one. Now, our opening match is a 2 out of 3 falls for the AEW World Tag Team titles. This is between Bullet Club Gold, Jay White, and Juice Robinson taking on FTR. Now, keep in mind, last time these guys actually won, Bullet Club Gold won the Eliminator, giving them the opportunity, which of course this was going to happen. So this was a 60-minute time limit match. I did not expect it was going to be that good. Now, the first pin came from White all the way to Wheeler. That seems too expected in some capacity. I think it was like, I think it was more determined. I think many fans might have thought that maybe we will see Bullet Club Gold with some titles, but when it went on, it was of course Wheeler that pinned Juice Robinson. I thought that was interesting. But however, since they were in Calgary, which is the home of of the Hart family, I thought it would be interesting that they actually tried the sharpshooter. They tried it on multiple times on both sides, but it was of course Harwood that applied it onto Juice Robinson, and of course he had no other choice but to tap. I thought this match was so intense. I think it was pretty good. I liked it. So but I don't know if it was the right call to continue with FTR as tag champions, but it's, as you know, FTR are big fans of the Hart family, so that's what makes more sense. Now, our next match is the finals of the Women's Owen Hart Foundation Tournament. We have Ruby Soho and Wilton Nagel. Now, many interesting things on this particular match I like. Now, keep in mind, if you guys remember, Ruby Soho and Wilton Nagel were tag team partners. I was present when they were in the LA show when they faced Ty Mello and Anna Jay in a street fight match, which was pretty good. But then since Ruby Soho joined the Outcast, it became differently. So how would this play out? But also another factor of this is the 3rd time that we see Ruby Soho in finals. Now, if you guys remember, she was unable to win the TBS title from Jade Cargill. Then she lost the finals in against Britt Baker in the first Owen Hart Foundation tournament. So the obvious question does tell: would this be the deciding factor where Ruby Soho redeems himself from those losses? Well, you look at Will Nightingale. I mean, many people probably could agree that Will is a rising star. I mean, her energy, her powerhouse that she does in the ring is so unique. But she was able to. But I knew that somehow Ruby would try to find a way to cut corners by using the spray. It did not work until she got pounced, and then finally, the Doctor Bomb made the deciding factor, making Willow Nightingale this year's winner of the Women's Owen Hart Foundation tournament. So I thought that was pretty good. Now, last week, if you guys remember what happened, QT Marshall kind of cost Hobbs the match. However, QT was trying to reason with him, saying that he was trying to tell him to get the turnaround and pin him. He had, of course, Ricky Stark's dead rights where he wanted him, but they were able to pick up the hold it. But however, the obvious thing is this thing between them is gonna still continue, or another mistake's gonna happen? We'll find out soon enough. Now, our next match, we have Kings of the Black Throne. That is, of course, members of the House of Black, Brody King and Malachi Black, along with Julia Hart. But in their possession, they had Andrade's Max. But they had like other wrestlers. They were taking on Artemis Pyle and Randy Myers. Wrestlers I believe I've seen in Defy. But one thing that was very interesting is Andrade showing up, who in fact is trying to reclaim what was taken from him, which is the mask that he wore coming into the ring. However, referees were trying to stop him, and of course, Malachi Black did put away Randy Myers with the black mask, winning the match. But however, this thing between Andrade and Malachi Black is yet to be finished. So the obvious thing is, one way or the other, Andrade will get his mask back, but the obvious question is how. That's also a deciding factor. Now, our main event was the Men's Owen Hart Foundation Tournament Finals, Ricky Starks and CM Punk. I figured this was going to be a pretty good match because, as you know, they did team up before. But now this is more like every man for themselves. Who is more hungrier to win? I'm sure many fans must have thought that CM Punk was going to win. But however, for me, I felt that this match definitely deserves to be with Ricky Starks because, he's probably one of the most rising stars that we've seen so far. I mean, he's very impressive, but he was able to use the ropes unexpectedly. The ref did not see it. He used the ropes under his advantage, becoming this year's men's Owen Hart Foundation winner. However, he grabbed his trophy and belt from Yushin Thunder Liger and just took off just like that. But however, Punk was not too pleased with the whole thing, but he went to stop by and say hi to someone that we all know. If you guys know this guy's name, David Benoit, who is the son of the late Chris Benoit. So it's great to see him there. So, I know Chris Benoit has great relationships with guys from AEW, but I think that's pretty much what we do know. So I think that's it for this one. So let's move on with Battle of the Belts. Okay, AEW Battle of the Belts 7. Now, keep in mind this is a match where we have only championship matches. Now, our first one is for the AEW International Championship. Now, it was Lance Archer who issued the challenge against Orange Cassidy this past Wednesday, and of course, on Rampage. But however, Orange Cassidy accepted it. But however, the obvious thing is we have seen Orange Cassidy from time to time overcome the odds. I mean, he had to do many ways to ensure he wins. Now, keep in mind, his hand is still a little messed up. He may uses it when he has to do it, or uses beach break or the mousetrap, which the mousetrap is one of the rare things. But how do you stop a big monster? Now, you probably can guess that Lance Archer was going to be using his strength against him, but it kind of felt like the battle between David versus Goliath. But Orange Cassidy was able to overcome it. He won by countout, which of course it seems like a bit dull to win in that fashion. but many fans did not, and who attended, did not like it. But however, that's how it went, and I'm sure Lance Archer is not happy with the fact that he lost in that fashion. Now we do get an in-ring interview with Tony Schiavone, with Daddy Ass, and the Acclaim. Now, recently the Acclaim has been dealing with the BS with QT Marshall and his knuckleheads. They accepted the trios match at the Rampage Royal Rampage that will take place on. But however, they will be they'll be taking that. But however, what's his name? Anthony Bowens did mention that since they've been successful as a trios unit, they want to make another play for the AEW World Trios title. So the obvious thing is, will the House of Black accept? We don't know. We'll just wait and see until that day comes, because right now at the moment, Malachi Black is dealing with, of course, to him, who he would consider someone he's been playing games with, Andrade. But we'll find out. Now, our next match is for the AEW Women's World Championship. This is between Taya Valkyrie, who is the homegrown Canadian, taking on Toni Storm. Now, I figured this match was going to be interesting and good. However, like always when we see Toni Storm, Ruby Soho, who is a member of the Outcasts, will try to get in the wall. Now, however, the satellite took out the feed, but we were able to see the last moments what happened. Ruby Soho got in the way, but they managed to apply, Toni Storm applied the Storm Zero to pick up the win and retain the title. Now, our main event, well, first things first, we have Dr. Martha Hart, the widow of Owen Hart, presenting the winners of this year's Owen Hart Foundation tournament, Willow Nightingale and Ricky Starks. I have to say, she pulled up a great speech, and of course she had a warm reception from the people of Calgary, since we all know this is Hart country, and I think it was pretty great to see that. So it's great. I'm happy for both these guys. They deserve this opportunity. Now, our main event is the TNT title between Shawn Spears and Luchasaurus. Now, Shawn Spears went back to his old gimmick, the chairman. However, the obvious thing is he violent enough to take down the big monster, Luchasaurus? That's always the thing. But I knew that Christian Cage was going to get himself involved in this. It's not a secret, but it was obviously was going to happen. But nonetheless, Luchasaurus, with the forearm in the back of the head of Shawn Spears, retained the title. So it was kind of expected, but yes. But sooner or later, I have a feeling Shawn Spears will make another play for the belt in the future. And I think that's pretty much it right now with everything. Let's move on with our final thing, news updates. Alright, our final thing, news updates, so let's get started. Now, if you guys watched the AEW media scrum from Double or Nothing, Will Ospreay talked about one of his dream matches that he wants to participate is the 25th anniversary of Naomichi Marifuji in Pro Wrestling Noah. Now, he confessed that Marifuji is his hero, so he said that he would like to wrestle him. So he said that the ball is in the court of Pro Wrestling Noah. So Noah announced recently that this match is definitely going to happen. It's going to take place on the 17th of September. So it's going to be Will Ospreay taking on Naomichi Marifuji. I know that match is going to be great. So can't wait to see it. Now, Minoru Suzuki had this little thing that I spotted on Twitter that was translated about strong style. Let me pull it up a little quickie right here. Oh yeah, here it is. This is what he says. I've been pursuing what strong style is for 35 years, and I want to pass that on. I would like the three of us to go on board, such as to the States for a month or so. Now, you ask yourselves, why would he wants to do that? Simple. We look at wrestlers that has a specific style that we could say is obsolete. Now, I remember William Regal talked about Zack Sabre Jr., that he is more of the British technical wrestling style that has been long forgotten, but somehow he makes it all good. And I think that's what Minoru Suzuki feels, that he, Narita, and Despy could make strong style what it is and pass on the knowledge to the next generation. I mean, if you guys remember, Ren Narita said that he calls himself the son of strong style, and of course, you look at Minoru Suzuki, who's been around that his entire career, saying, "I know what strong style is. I'm willing to teach you what strong style is all about." So I think that's what Ren Narita accepted Suzuki. He accepted that that's what he wanted, and and that's the reason they call themselves strong style, because it's all about Ren Narita. Try to keep that style alive. Now, as you know, Kitsune Women's Wrestling has been continuing with more talent. This one, I am very happy that they announced. It's going to be Tai Hamna. I have to say, she is one of my favorite freelancing wrestlers that I enjoy watching. And you guys know that she does speak Spanish. So I'm excited to see that she was announced. And I can't wait to see what she's going to do in the ring. Now, as you know, recently I announced this on the DWZ News Update Alert that Utami Hayashishita is in Calgary. They announced that she was going to be participating in some tapings. Well, it's now been confirmed that her tapings was with Ring of Honor, and spoiler alert, is going to be against Trish Adora. I have to say that's going to be a good break. I feel like maybe Utami Hayashishita being there kind of will give the door a nudge to allow Stardom talent come in. And I know one person who's not going to be happy that was wrestling over there, and that's going to be Julia, because she feels like she should be the one to do it. But she rather have the talent come to her turf rather than her going to theirs. That's how I view it. Now, GCW has announced for a card on the 18th of July for Japan. Let me pull that up real quick. Yes, they're calling it the New Face of War. We have Masahi Takeda taking on Joey Janela. Blake Christian versus Shigeru Iro. This is part 2, I think. Rina Yamashita taking on teaming with Masha Slammage, taking on Sawyer Wreck and Charlie Evans. Then we have Los Macizos with John Wayne Murdoch versus Sugiura, Hirada, and Zazaki. Then in final, Shane Mercer versus Daisuke Masaoka. So that's for the 18th of July. Now, Impact Wrestling has announced for the upcoming show Emergence that will take place on the 27th of September. The current IWGP World Heavyweight Champion Sanada will be making his return to Impact. Now, those who don't remember, Sanada does have a bit of a history with this promotion a long time ago when he had a different gimmick known as the Great Sanada, as a ripoff to the Great Muta. Now, interesting developments coming up. As you know, the All-Star Junior Festival USA has announced their 5th entry, and that 5th entry is none other than Speedball Mike Bailey. So I'm excited for that. I have to say, what a great pick. Now, for those who have been following Sendai Girls, Natsupoi issued a challenge against Chihiro Hashimoto. It was a pretty good match from what people say, but however, Hashimoto picked up the win, but Natsupoi did apply a suplex. I saw that on the clip. Now, related to Sendai Girls, and if you guys know who this person is, Millie McKenzie is now the new crowned Sendai Girls World Champion. As you know, Millie McKenzie does have a lot of history with the promotion, not to mention Meiko Satomura is one of her teachers. It's great that she won a title over there. It's great that she went back to Japan. So that's pretty much it what's going on to Sendai Girls. I think that's pretty much it what we have as well at this moment for this episode. So let's just call it a day. Well, I hope everybody enjoys this episode coming up. I'm going to wing it this time. Now, if you guys know this or not, I haven't reviewed GCW Now and Forever, which features Utami Ashita taking on Lufisto. That's going to be interesting. We do got Impact Wrestling with Slammiversary. You haven't seen it. We still continue with more of the G1 Climax. Can't wait to see that. And there is another New Japan show, but this one is coming from the Australian group. Don't know what they call it, but it's going to be interesting. So there's plenty others that I definitely haven't seen yet, but we'll see how that turns out. I think that's pretty much it for now. So I will see you guys in the next DWZ time. Same DWZ channel. I must bid all of you adieu. So, goodbye. Mwah. And have a nice day. Bang.